Hello from UMAi Dry. Today we're going to show you our experience with dry aging a brisket. Now we often get calls and emails from customers asking if they can age a brisket, and we had no clue, so we thought it was about time we try. Now we started out by going to Costco, and the only cut we could find labeled brisket was a 6.5 pound flat, which is the leanest and possibly the toughest part of a brisket. And so we thought we'd take on that challenge. We're starting out by showing you the clean transfer method here, where we wash off the outside of the bag and then transfer it neatly into UMAi Dry. Pull out the commercial packaging, and then we've drained a lot of the purge, but you have a really nice moist piece of meat. Trim the bag down. We used a 12 by 24 inch, 300 by 600 millimeter rib strip bag for this. So that's a little bit wider than the sealing bar on the vacuum sealer, so we did a 45-degree corner, leaving an opening just the width of the VacMouser vacuum aid strip. Before we inserted the vacuum aid strip, you can see we gripped the opening of the bag so that it had some nice wrinkles in it. Put that in, pressed the vacuum seal, and then it's important to help the sealer massage the air out towards the opening and get some really good contact, because remember, you're not vacuum packaging. You're simply trying to apply UMAi Dry like a membrane so it has the best possible contact. Then do a backup seal, as you see here, a second seal only, and if your sealer has a moist function, be sure to use that. So this is how our brisket looked on day 1 and day 21, along with a big piece of ribeye that's in there. And you can see it dried very, very nicely. The UMAi Dry peels back beautifully, leaving a nice clean surface, nice firm clean surface. And although we debated whether to trim or not to trim, it's generally our policy to trim, so we did that and put some goodies in the freezer for the dog. So as you can see, it trims off very easily. And the one thing we did notice about this brisket flat is that the character of the fat is very different from steak cuts, be they ribeye, strip loin, or sirloin. Rather than having kind of a very dense, buttery white kind of color when they age, this had a much browner color, and it had almost a crispiness as we shaved it off. So we coated this with a rub we got locally from the Wayzata Bay Spice Company that they suggested for brisket, and coated it really well, tucked it into a regular Ziploc bag overnight so that rub could work its magic. So on to smoking day. We had the benefit of using a friend's brand new smoker, well, almost brand new smoker, and so we got it up to the appropriate temperature, wanted at about 225. And then we recorded the inside temperature of the meat using a remote probe thermometer that we could actually read on our iPhone. Then when we reached that just right temperature, we used the Texas Crutch technique, which you can look up on the web. There are several references to it. But basically you allow foil and the addition of a little liquid. In this case we used some beef stock and apple juice in equal proportions. You add a little liquid and punch it in a double layer of foil, and it'll bring it up, move it out of the stall into 190 to 205 degree temperature range. And then we tucked it away in a towel in a cooler, which is a really good method for that last hour to 2, so the juices, even the minimal juices that you find in a flat, could go back into the meat and sliced into it against the grain. You can see a nice bit of a smoke ring and some really nice, delicious brisket. Thanks for joining us.